Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is not going to be a normal video. It's not a vlog. It's not anything that's fun and joyful. But it is something that I really wanted to record. I just kind of wanted to get my experience out there, just because you never know who's watching your video. You never know what they're going through, and you never know who you're helping. So I just want to start this video by saying, if miscarriage is something that is triggering to you, please just don't watch this video. This video is going to be about my experience with miscarriage. I feel like this video is going to be all over the place, but let's do it. Let's get into it. So me and Jesse, we had been dating for 8 years. And at the beginning of 2019, we decided that we wanted to start trying for kids. You try so hard not to ever get pregnant, and then whenever you start trying, it's actually a lot harder to do than, you would think. So we spent a couple of months trying to get pregnant. Wasn't happening for us. So after, I would say probably, I think it was about 6 months of trying. So I was talking to one of my aunts, and she was like, Marissa, you have to stop trying. It's not gonna happen if you're trying. And I'm like, okay, I've heard that so many times, but how do you not try whenever that's like, all you want and that's all you think about? Like I said, it wasn't happening for us. And I had taken a trip down to Florida, and whenever I came back, I told Jesse, I was like, you know what, I think maybe this just isn't our time. Maybe we need to stop trying, and we'll wait till after we're married, because at the time we weren't married yet. And I said, maybe that it's not in God's plan for us to have a baby until we're married. So that was in July that I told him that. Well, in August, I was a day late for my period. Me and Jesse were laying in bed, and it was probably like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I think one of my apps sent me like a little notification that was like, you're due to start your period today, or something along those lines. And I was like, dang, I'm late for my period. I'm a day late. I told Jesse, and I was like, whatever. I've been, a day or two late before, and it's never been a big deal. So he was like, well, jokingly, he said, go take a pregnancy test. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I took a little cheapie. I laid it on the side of the shower, and I got into the shower. I was taking a shower, getting ready for bed, didn't think anything of it. I looked at it like twice while I was in the shower. And the first 2 times that I looked at it, it was, just blank. There was nothing, no line or anything. So then I was like, okay, not pregnant, cool, fine, whatever. Then whenever I was getting out of the shower, I looked down at it again, and I seen the slightest pink line. And I was like, oh God. So Jesse comes in the bathroom, and he was like, what? And I was like, there's like a very slight pink line. And he was like, oh my God, you're pregnant. And I'm like, nah, probably not. Like, this could be like an evap line. And so he was like, okay, we'll just take one in the morning. So the next morning he left to work, and I took 4 pregnancy tests. And I had them all laid out, and sure enough, that morning, all of the pregnancy tests were positive, except for one. And that one, I think I peed on it wrong, because like even the control didn't show up. So I sent Jesse a picture of that one, and I was like, babe, it's negative, I'm not pregnant. Yeah, so that day while he was at work, I went to the store, got a few balloons, got a little card, and just set up like a little something for him whenever he got home. So whenever he got home, I had set up my camera to record his reaction.
What is... Nah, for real, baby? You are? Quit playing.
excited that I was actually pregnant. At the time, I didn't have any insurance or anything like that, and so I didn't have a doctor. I didn't have anything. I wasn't really like prepared, even though I was trying. At that time, I guess I was right at 4 weeks. So fast forward to 8 weeks, I had found a free clinic that would do an ultrasound and let you hear the heartbeat and all of that stuff, just to let you know that the baby's okay. So I had made an appointment for that, and Jesse took the day off of work to go with me to the appointment. So we went. Up to that point, I had been so like stressed out and worried, just wanting to know that, you know, the baby was okay. So we went to the appointment. I was 8 weeks. I was measuring 7 weeks and 9 days. There was a heartbeat. The baby was very tiny, but it was there. Everything was fine. Like I said, it was a free clinic, and she had students with her. And then before I left, she said, you know, if you do want to come back and get another ultrasound just for education purposes so that the students can kind of, you know, see how it works and all of that, feel free to just call, make another appointment, and you can come in. And I said, okay. You know, at the time I didn't think that I would even still be in Virginia. I thought we would be going home, or I thought that we were going to go ahead and start seeing a doctor in Florida. So 2 weeks passed, and I was headed down to take a trip to Florida, but we weren't going back to Florida for good. During this trip, we wanted to tell all of our family, and so I was like, you know what, babe, I just want to go and get another ultrasound just so that I could have like the ultrasound of like the baby at that stage that it was. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I wanted to go get another ultrasound. And he was like, well, go ahead and, you know, set up an appointment and go. So I did that. And at this point I was 10 weeks. And of course, we went to the first appointment. Everything was fine. I didn't think anything of it. Jesse didn't take the day off. I told him, like, don't worry about it. I just want to get this ultrasound to announce it to our family, and, you know, that's it. Well, when I went to that appointment, as soon as she put the ultrasound on me, I could tell that there wasn't a heartbeat. In the first ultrasound, I saw the heartbeat, like, as soon as she put the ultrasound probe on me. And this one, I couldn't see the little flutter. So of course I started to immediately worry. She had students with her, so she started off by showing them, you know, here's the uterus, here's the bladder, you know, all of the anatomy. And then she measured the baby, and it was only measuring at 8 weeks and 6 days. So a week and a day smaller than what I was at that point in time. And then again, there was no heartbeat. So she never really said that you're having a miscarriage. I think because it's a free clinic and they don't really do any like prenatal care or anything like that, they can't really diagnose you. They can just kind of tell you what they see and then refer you to see a doctor. So she, you know, said the baby's measuring 8 weeks and 6 days. I'm not seeing a heartbeat. And she just kind of looked at me and she's like, do you understand what I'm saying? And I just shook my head. It's a Christian-based free clinic, so she offered to pray with me. Okay. So she prayed with me. She gave me some paperwork on miscarriage and told me that I need to follow up with the doctor in the next 7 days. At the time, I still didn't have insurance. And I really didn't know what to do. None of my family knew at the time, so there was really no one for me to talk to. So of course, what did I do? I went to Google, and I just went into Google head first, was finding every article that I could read, watching every video that I could find, just trying to understand and to find hope, I guess. So during all of this, me and Jesse were planning to get married anyways, so that I could get on his insurance. But at the time of this appointment, still wasn't on his insurance. So the first appointment at the free clinic was on September 5th. That was the appointment that, you know, we heard the heartbeat, everything was okay. The second appointment was on September 19th, okay? Me and Jesse got married September 17th. So I couldn't get on his insurance until October 1st. However, we were going home to Florida on September 25th. So we wanted to be home in person and together to tell both of our families. And so we knew that there was a possibility that I was having a miscarriage because there was no heartbeat. However, we wanted to tell our family anyways, partly because we had hope that there was some like mistake. I read very many articles and watched a lot of videos where people had went to a doctor, not found a heartbeat on their baby, and then went a couple weeks later and there was a heartbeat. So we were holding on to hope. We were hoping that everything would be okay and that there was some kind of mistake. Like I said, we got married on the 17th. We went home on the 25th of September. We told all of our family and all of our close friends. Whenever we told them about both appointments. We told them, you know, that there is a possibility that this pregnancy might not be viable and that we might lose the baby. For me, that was comforting just because I'm in Virginia with no family, and I just wanted to be able to openly talk about that with them and just have them there for me. So before we went to Florida, we talked about it. We talked about, you know, whether we were going to tell them or not, because, you know, what if the pregnancy isn't viable? What if I do lose the baby? You know, what's the point in getting everybody all excited about it and then telling everybody that we lost the baby? So like I said, we decided to go ahead and tell them because I wanted to have the comfort to be able to reach out to someone and talk to them if I needed to. If your family doesn't know what you're going through, they can't be there for you. They can't be there to support you. So I was happy with the decision to tell them because, like I said, that just allowed them to be there for me in the future. I think we stayed in Florida for 4 days or something like that. We get back home, I get on Jesse's insurance, and I make an appointment. The soonest appointment they had was October 10th. So at that point, I was 13 weeks. This was like the official appointment, I guess, my first official appointment. So we went in, we did the ultrasound. When she put the probe on me, again, there was no heartbeat. And then she measured it, and the baby was still measuring at 8 weeks and 6 days. So there was no growth, there was no heartbeat. So yeah, they didn't find a heartbeat, and I had told them about what happened, so they knew that this was a possibility. Everyone at this clinic was so amazing. They took care of me and Jesse. They didn't know that we were here temporarily. They didn't know that we didn't have any family here or anything like that. They just knew that I was a patient and that I was having a miscarriage. The nurse and the doctor were so amazing. The person I will never forget is the receptionist. So as she was like checking me out, you know, she sits behind a desk. She came from behind the desk, came outside to like the waiting area where I was, and she just looked at me and she said, "I know I'm not your mom, but I am a mom. And I've gone through this, so I know what you're going through." And she just hugged me so tight. And not having any family here, it was just me and Jesse, just to feel like that support from somebody else that didn't even know me, that didn't know us. It was, I don't know, it was just something that I'll never forget. So rewind to me finding out that I was actually having a miscarriage. The room in which they did the ultrasound was a different room from where the doctor seen you. So the sonographer, obviously they can't tell you anything, but I could see on the TV that I was watching, the measurement was the same and I didn't see a heartbeat, so I kind of knew. And then I was crying, so she knew that I knew. So she hugged me and she was like, "Listen, this is not your fault." She was like, "I want you to get dressed, take as much time as you need in here." And she was like, "And once y'all get comfortable enough to, you know, come out of the room, there's another waiting room. I want you to go wait in there and wait for the doctor to see you." So me and Jesse, we sat in that room. It seemed like forever, just hugging and crying, and just, it's crazy because it was like I knew that this was a possibility. Like I had already seen it once before, but then I had went 3 weeks, not feeling any type of miscarriage symptoms at all, not having any cramps, not having any bleeding. If anything, I was still nauseous. I was still very fatigued. Like all of my pregnancy symptoms were still there, and there were no new symptoms and no miscarriage symptoms. So I had hope. And then at the 13-week appointment, our first official appointment with the doctor, you know, we found the news that we were actually having a miscarriage, and it just kind of crushed us all again. Me and Jesse, like I said, we sat in that room for what seemed like forever. We were just, it's hard to get your head around in a matter of minutes. But we had to, you know, pull ourselves together, and we had to go talk to the doctor. So this doctor, I had never seen him. It was the first time ever seeing him, but I had heard so many good things about him from the people that I used to work with at the hospital. And so when we went in to see him, he kind of told us the, you know, actual results, and he was like, I understand that you're going through a lot, but I just want to talk about options with you. He went through all the options of letting it happen naturally, taking a pill to kind of induce it, a DNC in the office, or a DNC under general anesthesia, like in an operating room. And at that point, I had been, you know, living with hope for 3 weeks basically, and I was just to the point where I was like, no, I just want to do the DNC. I just want to know that this baby is out of me and just try to start recovering from, you know, this. So I told him that I wanted to do the DNC. He told me I had the option to do it in the office or to do it in the hospital. He kind of went through both of the options with me and the differences and all of that. And I said, let's just do it in the office. I used to work at the hospital, and I didn't want to see a lot of people that I knew, and I just didn't want to go through all of that. So, and they're very supportive. I knew they would have been supportive of me and taken good care of me, but I just didn't want to go through that. The physical recovery process was easier doing it in the office. So we made an appointment to do that the following Monday, which was 4 days away. The appointment was on Thursday, and we made the appointment to do the DNC on Monday, the following Monday. So of course, over that weekend, I kind of just did nothing. I was very down, depressed, unhappy. You just try to like go on with life, but it's so hard because all you wanted for so many months was to be pregnant, and you finally got pregnant, and then you have a miscarriage and you don't know why. That's the thing that sucks the most, is you just don't know why. There's no reason to it. So Friday passes, and then Saturday rolls around, and I start getting very slight cramps. That was the first time I had ever felt these cramps, and I knew what was happening. But they were very small, they were very slight, so I really didn't have any worries about it. I just kind of, you know, just rested all that day. So then Sunday came around, and I was fine until about, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. Me and Jesse had went out to eat, and we had planned to go see a movie. And I was just like, babe, let's just go home. Like, I don't feel like going to see a movie. I don't know. I'm just like hurting. I'm not really feeling good. Let's just go home. So we came home. Again, I just laid in bed and rested for the night. The following day, that Monday, was the day I was scheduled to go in and have the DNC. Well, Sunday night into Monday morning at about 3 a.m. I woke up to severe cramping. Nothing I had ever felt in my life before. So I got up and I didn't know what to do. Like, I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't fall back asleep. Every time I would try to go back to sleep, they would kick back up, and they would come in waves. It would be very, very sharp pain, and then it would kind of dull out, and then it would stop for a few minutes, and then that cycle just kept going for 2 hours. And then at 5 o'clock in the morning, I had went to lay back down in bed. As soon as I laid down, I felt almost how people explain it when their water breaks. I felt like that. So I got up, went to the bathroom, and I miscarried. as soon as that happened, I felt so much relief physically and emotionally, just because it's hard walking around with something inside of you that is not growing. And I know that might sound like gruesome or like mean in some kind of way, but it's hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it except for like that. It was just very relieving to finally feel like, I don't know how to explain it. So after that, I was just so physically exhausted. I know it wasn't labor, like I understand that, but it felt like my body went through a very short labor. I was so extremely exhausted. So I laid back in bed and I fell asleep immediately. And then I woke up about 7 o'clock that morning, and I called the nurse, and she said, I want you to still come in. We're gonna do an ultrasound, make sure that you passed everything naturally, and then we'll go from there. So I went into the office that morning, and they did an ultrasound, and thankfully they said that I had passed everything on my own, so I didn't have to have a DNC. She told me, kind of the recovery. She said you'll be bleeding anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. And they kind of just went over everything with me and told me that if I needed anything that I could call them. So through all of this, my family and Jesse's family and my close friends that knew have been the most amazing support system ever. Even when I didn't think that I wanted to talk to anyone and I just wanted to be alone, I had people reaching out to me. I had people texting me, calling me, and it just gives you a sense of comfort to know that you have so many people behind you and so many people that care about you. So it's been a few weeks since I've gone through all of that, and I feel like I'm doing better. I'm trying to just get back to a normal routine, trying to keep busy. I try not to watch anything that has to do with miscarriage or has to do with losing a child, because it does trigger me and it does make me very upset. But I don't know. I don't think you ever really heal from it. I think you kind of just try to move past it. I mean, I know it sounds crazy that something is so small and you never got to meet it, so how could you miss it so much? But you do. It's something that, I don't know how to explain it. It's just very hard. It's like losing a loved one that you didn't know. So I made a little picture frame with my first sonogram on it. And I just wrote a little quote on there. I did that for myself to keep in my bedroom, because I don't ever want to forget this experience. As hard as it is and as much as it sucks, it's something that definitely made me grow and made Jesse grow and helped to just bring us a lot closer together, especially being here and only having each other. It was just, I don't know, it's an experience that you don't ever wish upon anyone, but whenever you go through it, you just are so much closer on the other end of it. So some people may say, why do you want to do this video? Why do you want to put this out there? Why do you feel the need to talk about it? However, whenever I was going through it, it gave me some type of comfort to know that other people were going through the same thing and that they were okay. They were finally able to talk about it. They were finally able to, move past it. And another reason that I wanted to talk about it is because until this happened to me, I had no idea the amount of people that I personally knew and that I love and that I'm close to. I never knew how many people had miscarriages. And then whenever, I started telling people, they told me their, stories. And I just feel like it shouldn't be something that you should be ashamed of. And it sucks. And you know, you don't want to like just talk about it all the time, but if it helps someone get through something, then why not talk about it? So yeah, that's my story, that's my experience. So moving forward, me and Jesse, we plan on, you know, trying again whenever we are able to. Me and Jesse aren't in a rush to, you know, try to have a baby anytime soon. But if it does happen, then it happens, and we're just going with the flow. As much as you don't want bad things to happen, everything happens for a reason. For some reason, that baby was not meant to be on this earth. And even though I don't understand that reason, I know God has his plan, and when it's our time to have a baby and to raise a child, we will get that time. And if you're watching this video and you've ever gone through this, or you're currently going through this, just know that I'm praying for you. You're not alone. This is a lot more common than people talk about. And as much as it sucks in the moment, you will probably never forget it, but you will understand eventually that there is a reason for it. So I feel like I've kind of just been rambling. I just want to make sure that I say everything that I want to say in this video. And if you ever need anyone to talk to, or you feel like you're alone, don't ever hesitate to message me, text me if you know me personally, reach out to me in any type of way, because I would not want anyone to feel alone in this situation. For those of you who watched this, thank you. I appreciate it. And until my next video, I love you guys.